Hello, my name is Dougal McCool and I enjoy a good pair of slacks. Today on Board Deck and Dice we are doing a rundown of my 51st to 60th reviews, doing them in score order rather than the order they were recorded in. I don't know why I stumbled over recorded. 'Tis a mystery to all. And if you enjoy the reviews, if you'd like to see more of what I thought of them, the review links will be in the bottom. So, starting from the worst game of that 10, that was Machi Koro. Machi Koro is a dice rolling set collection game where you start by rolling one dice and you're trying to earn gold to buy more buildings. You have two starter ones, I think. And when you roll a dice, it will hopefully set something off on your tableau. Sometimes it sets something off on other people's tableaus, gets you more gold to buy better properties, which then you can combo, hopefully. This was one of my early purchases. I have fond memories of it, really enjoyed it. But latterly, even with the expansions, it plays too long, is a little bit too random, and sometimes you can build an engine or a tableau that you think is going to get you something good, and then the luck of the dice just stops you doing that. When you get to the point where you can roll two dice, you have to take the combined total of them. And in my video review I actually compared it to Card Kingdom's Valeria, which I find a much better take on that system, and that will appeal later on this list. Machi Koro got a 5.9. Next up was Forbidden Island, which I gave a 6, and showing all the low production values and low research values, and I don't know what I'm talking about values of this channel. I claimed that Forbidden Island was a precursor to Pandemic, when actually it was pointed out to me that it is a follow-on from Pandemic, simplifying the system and making it more family friendly. However, as I already own Pandemic in this family, and I think my 6-year-old would be fine with saving the world from disease, I'm not sure there is any room in my collection for Forbidden Island. So it uses the Pandemic system to flood an island rather than to diseaseify the world. That is a word, you can look it up. Not now, finish watching the video first. And you're playing on, instead of a board, you have tiles which can be flipped over to show they're flooded, and then if they get flooded again, they disappear. And you're trying to work together to collect 4 treasures, which you have to do by having 4 cards of the same colour, a la Pandemic. If I was going to get one of the Forbiddens, it would probably be the slightly more complex Forbidden Island, but again, with Pandemic in my collection, for me, with so many games out there that have so many varied systems, I'm not sure I enjoy the Pandemic system enough to have those variants of it. So yeah, that was my thoughts on Forbidden Island, which got a 6. Best Treehouse ever. I'm starting to realise that drafting is one of my favourite card game mechanisms. Best Treehouse ever. You are drafting cards to build the best treehouse ever. Great title, eh? But you can only put these runs that you're drafting on your treehouse in certain ways. You have to follow colour. So if you block off one of the colours, you cannot then put another one of that colour on later on, and you must balance the treehouse. If you play a card to the left, you move the balance thing to the left. If you play it to the right, you move it to the right. What really elevated this game for me is the clever scoring, where when you finish your treehouses each round, you can basically look at everyone else's and decide that you're going to make their colour that they've used most score nothing, if it works out like that. Of course, they might do the same to you, but it really makes you push for variety in your treehouse. I enjoyed Best Treehouse ever, gave it 7.5. Diamant is a reskinning, I guess, of its original form. So it was originally Diamant, became Ink and Gold, and now they've released it as Diamant again. Fantastic game. Goes down well with every group I play it, can do 3 to 8 players comfortably, has fantastic components for a low price. It's simple, push your luck. You're all adventurers. It doesn't outstay its welcome. You're only going to go through 5 caves. Sometimes those caves can last 2 cards, which doesn't sound fun, but actually if you've got all the treasure, it's a lot of fun, believe me. As you go through those, as you reveal cards, you will choose to stay in the cave or exit the cave. If you stay, you get a chance of more treasure, but if you go, you get to bank any treasure you've already collected in these cool little punch out treasure chests. I say cool, they're already starting to annoy me a bit. I may have to glue them because they do start to fall apart a little bit in storage. But great game for all ages. Great little filler for a game group, but great one for a family that your kids can really get involved in. Diamond 7.8. The next is Thieves Market, which I gave a 7.9 to, which I count myself lucky to have got hold of because I kickstarted it and it had some massive problems with the warehouse that was meant to be fulfilling this. Thieves Market is an interesting game. I guess it's kind of a take on dice crafting. You roll a load of dice which will have gems on them, they'll have infamy, which is victory points, or they'll have gold. If you're first player, you put the first player token in with those dice and you take as many of those dice as you want. However, the next player can take from the pile or they can take from you. If they take from you, they must put at least one dice back in the centre pot. So it creates this kind of tension of taking just enough dice to get what you need whilst leaving the pot sweet enough for everyone else. So if you go first, you might think that's a real advantage. But if you take too much, you're not going to have that stuff at the end. And it's really interesting the way they include the first player token in the pool, because what you're taking those dice to do is to buy cards which give you scoring abilities or give you powers to change the face of the dice to something else. All this builds into a tableau, which means at times you can almost have too much going on, if I had a criticism of the game. But it's really interesting game and I really enjoy it. Thieves Market 7.9. Also coming in with a 7.9 is Valeria Card Kingdoms. We mentioned it earlier. This is Machi Koro on steroids. You roll 2 dice right from the off. You take the 1 dice value, you take the other dice value, and you activate cards with both of those values. Then you add the dice together and you activate cards with that combined value. So if I roll a 3 and a 2, I activate my 3 cards, I activate my 2 cards, and I activate my 5 cards. It's just called maths, kids. This creates a more exciting game. The other key thing that it does, I think, better than Machi Koro is that every card activates on your turn if it's rolled and on other people's turn. Often you get less on other people's turn, but it means you're invested in watching other people, what they do, what are they rolling, what can I get from that, how does that affect my go. You are using civilians, which are the ones with the dice numbers on, to attack monsters and to gain domains, and then you score at the end. Brilliant. It has replaced Machi Koro. Machi Koro is gone from my collection and I do shed a little tear about that, but not much, because then I go and play Card Kingdoms Valeria. 7.9 for that. The next game is Cockroach Poker, which I rate really highly as an 8.5, simply because this little box contains so much fun. In Cockroach Poker you have a hand of cards which can be one of 7, I think, insects. I have the royal variant, so there's more complications there, but essentially what you do is you pass a card face down to someone else and you say, that's a cockroach. They can then say, yes it is, or no it's not. If they look at it and they're right, that card goes in front of you. If they're wrong, it goes in front of them. But the other thing they can do is they can look at that card, then pass it on to someone else and say, yes it is a cockroach, or no he's lying, it's a frog. And it just creates this wonderful tension of, are they lying? Shall I join in on that lying? Shall we try and stick someone else with this card? And the losing player is the player who gets 3 cards of the same creature. So once someone gets 2, you all kind of gang up on them, trying to ditch them in the cards. There's some special cards, the royal cards have different things in it. Love, love, love Cockroach Poker. Great small game with a lot of replayability. My first ever deck builder was Star Realms. It's still one of my favourites. I gave Star Realms an 8.5. What I like about this deck builder over other deck builders is that you're attacking the other player. I played Street Fighter deck builder and you weren't attacking the other player. Well, you did sometimes, sort of, but Star Realms is a straight out fight to reduce your health to 0. I love it, it's simple, there's a lot of game in a small box. The expansions have been great. Star Realms is superb. Starfighter I gave a 9 to, one of my favourite underrated gems. I think this game is fantastic. It's a 2-player, very tactical game where the cards are split in half and you're kind of overlaying things and hiding things, but the key point is that every time a power becomes visible, it activates, and this can create mad combos. You can use most of the powers to mess with your stack of ships or the other proponent's stack of ships. Great game, Starfighter. And my final review in that 10 is King of Tokyo, which I gave a 9. King of Tokyo will always have a fond place in my heart because it was the first game that got me back into tabletop and board gaming. I sold a video game to go and buy this fantastic game I'd seen in Waterstones, and that was King of Tokyo. Giant monsters duking it out over Tokyo and also trying to destroy each other. Always go for a total wipeout victory. Don't go for the victory point victory. I hate that. But you can buy powers, the components, just the little green energy gems. As simple as it sounds now that I've got more board games, that really drew me in. King of Tokyo with a 9. So there's a recap, perhaps not the quickest recap of my last 10 reviews. Like I say, I'll put all the links in the bottom to Board Game Geek, to the actual full reviews. Go check them out if you wish. If not, fine. I've got no beef with you. See you next time on Board, Deck and Dice.